Thanks.
Okay. It might take me a few minutes to, it always seems to take a while to set up on Facebook.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
So what time is it where you are?
It's 6 in the morning.
Oh, bless you. It's very early. Are you a morning person?
I am. So I had to sneak down the corridor and leave the kids asleep and hope I didn't wake, and covered the pack of dogs, wrapped the dogs up. I've got a pack of 3 dogs, wrapped them in their blankets.
Oh,
Sneak down. Yeah.
oh, bless.
Yeah. Hmm.
What kind of dogs are they? Are they big dogs or?
Yeah, they're 3 big sort of RSPCA specials, so they're mixed breed giants, all of them. Yeah.
Do they get on with each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we are live. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I'd like to welcome my very special guest today, Jenni, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Abdelnoor?
Yes, that's it. Okay. And I've just changed my name. I can just see that I have got a different name on here. Let me just sort that out.
Okay.
That helps people, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not letting me shift that. That's okay. Let's do that. Yeah, thank you. It's so special to be here.
No, thank you for being here, Jenni. I'm delighted to connect in with you, and I feel such peaceful energy today. It's been some rocky road and a bit of a roller coaster ride, shall I say. And I always feel that whatever I'm going through, well, I noticed it many years ago, whatever I'm going through seems to be collective. So I know that there's a lot of people out there going through the very same thing. But if you could please start by introducing yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Jenni Abdelnoor, and it wasn't so long ago I actually discovered that my surname Abdelnoor means servant of the light, and that was just delightful to really own that, to really be with what that is. And I've been a body worker for I think over 25 years now. I've seen it in 3 cycles of 8. Kind of my way of 8, 8 and 8, working with many people in different modalities. So from deep within the medical profession as a physical therapist, a body worker, myofascial therapist, energy healer, working with horses, dogs and humans, and then bridging how I've always been in the world, where my inner child said, do you remember how you came here to work with people? And now bridge that, and now be in all realms and all spaces, and also translate, be able to translate in the language of the body some quite challenging concepts to people. So really being with that bridging role and that between worlds role. So yeah, part of what I do is work with groups of people in circles, so men's circles, women's circles, and mixed circles as well, and retreats and other offerings. Yeah. And
do you live in New Zealand?
I sure do. So live in Middle Earth, and yeah.
I feel that your energy is way out there and very expansive. You've got a very expansive energy, and I feel that you're you really bring that a higher energy through. That's what I feel with you, and I feel that you bring it through very well. I feel it's very anchored in you, and I hear it in your voice when you speak.
Ah, right.
I really hear it in your voice. And I feel it's very anchored. I feel it's very centered. I feel that you really come from the heart space. So I'm sure a lot of other people will feel that too. And I noticed that you've got an Egyptian background. Do you have a connection to the Egyptians? I was going to say Pleiadians, but
yeah, yes and yes. Yes and yes, absolutely. And interesting, like my husband's lineage is from Egypt. So so my children are quarter Egyptian, as well as part Viking now, and all of the other, energetics and genetics that I bring. And yeah, always had a huge connection to feeling Egypt very deeply. It's like, I think on this earth, when we really land in our bodies, we have certain markers and spaces, landmark sacred sites that our body remembers, and it helps us remember where we are on the map, like to feel where we are on the map and to know where we are on the map. And I've been really feeling that recently this week around people getting very authentic and real and honest with where they are on the map, and also discerning where they would like to be on the map. And sometimes, really moving people in the direction of, this is where I'd like to be on the map, this is where I think I am on the map, will you reinforce that this is where I am on the map? And that illusion doesn't hold anymore. And people are being called, their bodies are calling them, their circumstances, situations, what we're presented with is calling us back to the humility of being exactly where we are on the map, so that we can orientate ourselves. And I've been really feeling with people that coming back to that place allows all parts of us to arrive in the same place, same time. And I think you spoke to me about, when we have pain in our body, when we're actually experiencing pain, that gets all of our attention. When we actually have an awareness or pain in the body, our whole brain lights up like a Christmas tree. So it's got our attention right here, right here. And I know I've been experiencing that a lot with people that I've worked with in the last week. Incredibly, unignorable body symptoms. Unignorable.
what kind of things?
A lot of old back stuff, so spinal, a lot of spinal, and a lot of sort of maladjustments in the neck, which can actually have people feeling offset, off alignment, out of kilter. It can often lead to, that slight off balance. And when we're slightly off balance, slightly off alignment, that's when we stumble or trip, or spill things, knock things over, trip up on the street. So that alignment of the higher chakras in the body and how they relate to the most grounded and close to the earth chakras has been really, really present. A lot of stomach things as well this week. And anyone who's been feeling like challenges with the breath, whether they naturally have like asthma or an ongoing condition, but it's feeling like the breath and holding the breath, not being able to get a deep breath, almost feeling like the oxygen that's coming in is not enough, and having to, take those big, like a big sigh, and lots of yawning, like feeling oxygen depleted as well. And tailbone, like I often, whatever goes on up here is mirrored in the lower part of the body, as above so below. And a lot of people not feeling that they can really center in the pelvis and the sacral region as well. And it's been really interesting. Pretty much every client I've worked with this week and all the group sessions, I've really been asked to anchor their umbilical cords, anchor their grounding cords back to the earth. So many people are literally feeling like space cadets out there with the cord from the belly, going what to plug into. You know, I'm not sure I trust anything. Everything's moving so fast. What can I land in that I can trust? And for many, it's bringing them back to Mother, bringing them back to Gaia, and bringing them back to trusting their earth body and their earth connection, that they can be here fully.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's really fascinating how everything is linked. And I when you were talking about realigning, it seems to me that we are realigning collectively, and that Mother Earth is realigning at the same time. And also with the breathing, I could see how that links into the masks and not being able to breathe.
Yes.
And that would be linked into George Floyd. That was a few months ago now.
Yes.
So it's a fascinating times we're in, where everything is so linked. Nothing is separate from each other. Nothing is separate. Everything is linked, and like a large clock with all the you know what I mean. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. All
I can feel that.
being orchestrated by a main wheel, and all the cogs are connected, and it's all connected and interconnected and intertwined, and nothing is separate from what's going on at the moment. You know, what affects us on Earth affects the universe, and it affects Mother Earth, and
Yes.
we are affected individually and collectively. And we're all like each an individual clog, but it's all intertwined and working together. So we do need to, I think it's really important at the moment for us all to collectively, and especially individually, because it starts individually, is to just breathe and center and ground. And I know that Nina the other day was also talking about the back and yeah. So yeah, it's fascinating. I would like to do I'd like to do a meditation. I don't know if you want to lead it, or if you want me to lead it, but I'd like to do a heart meditation. If that's okay.
Sounds beautiful.
Would you like to lead it, Jenny, or do you want me to lead it?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I would be honored.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Just a few minutes, I guess, just to really bring people into that space in their body. Yeah, thank you. So one of the inquiries, or one of the invites, as we come into a cohesive heart field, just knowing that anyone who listens and feels this is all connected through universal time space, that we're all here at the same time, that we feel each other's hearts at the same time, in the same space. And just allowing your entire body to soften, letting every part of you soften. And particularly if you're used to holding a posture or an alignment which makes you feel rigid, or like you're having to work hard. And this is something in the heart field. As we come into that softening, we come into ease. We come into acceptance. We come into the body, just letting ourselves deepen. And really feeling as well, can the chin nod down ever so slightly? As soon as we allow the chin to nod down, we're saying in our body, I am willing to arrive in my space. I'm willing to connect to me, to all of me. And we're just feeling the body soften into that. And really feeling that every exhale breath takes us deeper into the body. Feeling that the muscles can soften, feeling that the bones can soften, feeling that all the organs can soften, and feeling our beautiful heart, feeling our collective heart, feeling the heart of Mother. And as we feel that space in the body, allowing our heartbeat to connect to the heart of Mother Earth. And allowing us to feel in that connection that we can drop beyond the fast, frenetic beat of the world, of the surface humans. And that our heart once again can seek and feel and remember the deeper rhythm, the ancient rhythms, the ancient messages, the ancient support, the unconditional love that is available to us. And it's interesting as I feel into this space, as we continue our sharing, I'm being asked that many of you who tap into and tune into this will receive a reset of your own pacemaker. So many of us in our heart rhythm have connected to calibrating our pacemaker through external people, other means, and it's time to come back to our own pacemaker, our own, if you like, initiate or initiation of the heart. So coming back to that full initiation in the heart. Just trusting that you will receive any upgrades, any adjustments, recalibrations within your pacemaker cells of the heart. And also knowing as we connect into that, we will also receive that connection deep into our primordial cells in the body, our primary 8 cells that are with us from birth to death in this lifetime, that holds our soul blueprint. And I'm just really feeling that coming online in this space. The pacemaker and the soul template. And just feeling that softness in the body. And really inviting, as we continue our sharing, the deep receptivity of being in a cohesive heart frequency. And just gently, and when you're ready, allowing yourself to come back to this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenni. That was really beautiful. Yeah, your energy is very, very special. One of the things I got when you were doing that, I got the name Solomon, or the word Solomon. So I just wondered if you had a connection.
Yes, it's interesting. I've been drawn to the energy of Solomon's temple so much recently, and really remembering how, part of Solomon's temple was the divine expression that was shared of sacred union. That in that temple space, it was like maybe even just one day a year, it was like the crowds and everybody gathered and they witnessed the live transmission of divine union, of like eros, the beautiful energy of erotic relationship to life on planet Earth. And And it's like, you know, in today's day and age, it's like we go off to our concert and we get our little fix, or we go off to our, you know, our thing and get our little fix, and our I guess our lift. We get our lift, we get our fix, we get our recalibration. And the energy of Solomon's temple was what I've been really feeling into. It's the energy of bringing eros and innocence to the same place. And what I've really noticed in, you know, what's going on in the world and what's been happening is that energy of eros has been stripped and has been confined to the shadowlands, has literally been taken and manipulated out of everyday life and pushed into the bedroom, for want of a better word, shoved into the hidden realms and manipulated and worked in ways that are not okay. And it's only what I've been really feeling, it's only the absence of this life force. We're talking life force. We're talking about how our cells relate to each other in our body, that divine expression and expansion and joy, that it has been so banished from the surface, that it has been forced into its shadow expression, where everyone's wanting and needing and wanting to feed off that life force in very, I mean, we know what's going on in the world, in very dangerous ways for humanity.
Yeah.
So thank you for speaking into Solomon, and that's what comes forward today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenni. And I, if there's anything I would add to that, it's the word desperation. Yes. For a longing to reconnect to our divinity, our God source, and our divine blueprint of the way things were meant to be, and the state of being that we seem to be going back into. And so I know there's a lot going on in the world, but how would you describe what's going on in the world, on a physical 3D reality, but also the higher states of awareness and consciousness and higher dimensions, because the two are happening at the same time?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, we've had a massive, I guess, split between, I want to say spiritual castration. So I'm going to say it. The spiritual castration that has shown up where, you know, in certain philosophies and religions and ways of being, the journey has been to rise up the upper chakras and exit, enlighten, ascend, leave the physical planes, hide in a cave and om for 30 years. You know, that's, I'm going extreme. Oh, hello. Yeah. And the opposite, which, you know, I come from the UK, and this was way more present in the UK, the absolute denial of the spiritual planes of existence, and only the meat suit, only the physical density of existence. So, you know, really what I have a sense of, we have the full spectrum of ways of us being out of the body and ways of us being out of our spiritual body. Every way, every single way has been played out by humanity. And over our lifetimes, I believe we've played the full spectrum. And, you know, what I've been really coming to is, can I come into, in my body, the areas that are most challenging for me to be? So in my way of being, it's been very easy for me to live outside my body, to, you know, to look at it from the eagle's perspective, to always look at things from that cosmic perspective. And I'll be really honest with myself, but like being really judgmental of the humans and the total mess that we're in, like being like, I'm not having anything to do with that, you know, really I kind of really want to own that, like really having an arrogance around humanity as if I haven't been a part of creating it. So, you know, I would say for me, it's been an incredibly humbling journey to ascend into my body, to bring all those parts that have been floating out all over the place, with their idea of what needs to be patched up on planet Earth, and actually coming back and landing and bringing myself into the lower chakras, into the densities. And what happens, or what's happened for me as I've come into all of me and really grounded and really anchored in the earth, I can now sit alongside and be with anybody in their experience. I can be alongside the perpetrators as well as the victims. And I can be alongside that because I've met that part within myself. I know that part. I am saying in that place, it's like, wow, yeah, I can relate to that experience here. I know I am capable of that. I'm not in denial of that part of the whole. I don't like it. I don't find it easy, yet I can sit alongside it. And when I can bring that higher perspective, but also anchor into more of that density and what's really tough for me to accept about myself, it allows another person to anchor their higher consciousness. Because one of the things I've really noticed playing out, everybody is living around shame avoidance. Like, whatever's going on, just don't bring shame near me. Don't bring shame near me. Don't show me that I'm wrong, or that I haven't got this right, or that I'm misinformed or an incompetent human being. It terrifies us. So we cling to like a structure, and we have the shield of shame, which we hope nobody lifts and reveals where we are in our map. And to have people that can sit alongside people in their shame, in their despair, in their terror, in their confusion, in their not knowing, and love that, like love that part of them. Things start to change. Things start to really, really deeply change in their experience of being here.
Thank you, Jenni. One thing that I really want to mention for anyone listening is that I've had, over the last week, I've been in a very, very dark place. And I've gone into it very quickly and coming out of it very quickly. So it's boom, 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 boom. And it's been quite, because it's happened so quickly, it's been quite traumatic, even because it's happened so quickly. It's like boom, in it, in the fire, in the depths of the lowest I've ever been, in the darkness and the negativity and the negative agenda and the negative attacks and demons and all of it. And I got to the point where I could see and feel and understand how negative energy and the absence of love and the cabal energies, I could understand and see and feel how they are where they are, because it's such an absence of love. And I was taken to that lower space. I will say to about 90%, where I was shown they do have a soul, but it has been so stripped away from them that they are only operating at 10% of their, not even 10%, like 1% of their God source. So they are so far removed from God's source that they are trapped. I want to say trapped even in cages, trapped in cages. Or trapped in energy where they don't know how to get back to source energy because they're so lost. It's like they're marooned on an island without the tools or without a boat or without knowing the way to get back to the source. And although I felt that some of them wanted to, they'd lost the map, they'd lost the way of how to get back. And the other thing I'd like to mention as well is that as a starseed, I feel, you know, I wrote down some words just now, and trauma and healing, and that we're moving back into the body, and that we have back problems at the moment, and that we need to earth and ground ourselves. And I think that is so important. It's crucial at the moment that we really ground ourselves. And I think this has been our job as starseeds, because I believe as starseeds we are the way showers for the rest of humanity. And I've just healed some stuff has come up for me recently where I'm still in the process of healing it. So don't, and please don't anyone think that I've healed it, because I'm still healing it, like layers of the onion. But I'm healing it to a deeper level or a higher level, which I didn't know I had stuff that I needed to deal with, and I didn't even know I could deal with it and heal it to that level or that depth or that highness. So, and I know that whatever happens with me individually, it's always collectively as well. So I feel that there is going to be a wave now of starseeds and the new people that are waking up, who are starseeds, who are a step behind us. We are the way showers for that. So it's going to be wave upon wave upon wave now of people, and each wave is going to get larger, have a larger capacity to it. So there's going to be more people and more people and more people, children and adults who are healing from trauma and abuse and rape and poverty and neglect and abusive relationships and all the negative ways of being and things that we do to each other. This is a mass healing, and it's just going to be wave after wave after wave after wave. And I think we are the way showers. I think that's why we have gone through it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Like I can feel such a truth in that. And like you say, it's like individually, we never stop doing our inner work. It's just the next layer and the next layer that allows us in further and allows us to relate to more people, allows us to reach out. Like when we reach in, we're reaching out. When we network in, we're networking out. When we land deeply, we place a bigger pinprick on the map, if you like. We land a bigger stone in the pond, so our ripple reaches further out. And I could just really feel that, like the deep work you have been doing in the last couple of weeks. Like I just keep seeing like 8 days of in like really, really deep, like really deep within your body. And with that, it's allowing you to bring, and it almost feels like translate what you know up there, like translate at a tangible, believable, feelable, trustable language. You know, I find so many of us as starseeds, this has been my journey. Like if I share from that light language, you know, that space, people, you know, it startles the nervous system. Like for some people it's like, whoa. Some people it's like a soothing blanket. Of course, it's like home. Yet there's a place, can we translate what people's bodies are needing to receive from the density of being in human form, in the human realms, connected to the earth. Like, you know, we are wading around shit deep in the mire right now. Like and it's, you know, to pretend that we're omming and floating on magic carpets is deep denial. It's not true. It's not true. So, you know, like, yes, star seeds, it's time to put on the big fisherman waders. It's time to stand in the shit. It's time to feel what it smells like. It's time to go, wow, yeah, I've been part of creating this, and I'm willing to stand alongside humanity in this. And it's like, you know, yes, star seeds, let's roll our sleeves up and let's midwife what this is. Let's be willing to be in the blood and the mud and the earth and be with it. And, you know, so many of us, it can be like we startle easily, we surprise and we shock easily. And we're specialists at hopping out of our body. It's like, oh my God, it's getting a bit gnarly. Whoop, I'm out. Whoop, gone. 3 years later, I might just, let me just check in. How's planet Earth? No, not interested. So, so it's like, yes, you know, this coming into the body. And Carol, I've been really feeling in the last few weeks, you know, as these children are being brought out, as these children are being brought from their underground existences and being, you know, the most traumatized, the most depleted, the most stripped of all ways humanity could ever have treated another human. I mean, it's just, but what I see is the light beings and the beings that hold space for them. They are not crying and falling on the floor like a mess. They are not so freaked out by it that they're hyperventilating. You know, I mean, they're in light form, and they're humans as well. The humans in that ground zero space. So what I'm meaning is they have had to go into that density to be able to hold reverence and stillness and deep acceptance for what is coming out from underground. They're not falling apart in the face of it. So the more of us that are willing to ascend into the density within us, it means that we're able to be alongside the children as they rise up. We're able to be alongside the most traumatized, the most vulnerable on this planet, and hold space for that, not having it trigger us into a 5-year process. Yeah.
And I think I totally resonate with what you're saying, Jenni. And I think with what I've been through recently, it's brought me to a whole new level where I actually feel like I would be able to hold space for some of those traumatized children. And I also feel that whatever I've always felt for the last, I don't know, 10 years at least, that whatever is going on for me individually is happening collectively. So I think there's a mass, you know, even as StarSeeds, I think we're healing trauma that has been to a deeper level or a higher level, like you were saying. And I feel that is in order for us to be able to hold the energy for those children that are going to need to heal and to be held. And I feel that those children are a wave. You know, I was saying just now about waves. Yes. And waves and waves of trauma and healing, and people that will need healing from trauma, whatever type of trauma it is. I feel that we're going to be here to, and I feel that you're part of this, Jenni, that you're here to hold that energy for them. And also, for many years, I've been out of my body because I was traumatized as a child. I'll give you an example. I was 8 years old, and I was underfed, undernourished, had an alcoholic mother, was living in poverty in Hackney in London, which to me is like the Bronx in America. And yeah, I guess you would call me a bit of a wild child as well. I was always out playing, and I was hardly ever at home, and I never had a key. But I was 8 years old, and I had my mum's boyfriend at the time lying on top of me, and I couldn't breathe, and I left my body, and I connected to the Pleiadians. Now, for a number of years, I'd remembered the abuse and the physical reality, but I'd forgotten that I'd left my body and connected to the Pleiadians. And I only remembered that in 2010, I think it was, I began to do shamanic courses in Ireland. And I got the lost memory back of having left. So as a child, I got very used to leaving my body at the times of abuse, because I was abused many times. And I would just leave my body. Yes. And I would be safe up there. So I learned, that's what I learned to do. So, and I continue to do that for many years, and I still do as an adult. And when I get a problem, I leave, I'm gone, I'm out, you know. Whether it's financial or money or bills or job or whatever it is, I'm gone. So I'm still learning to integrate. But the last 8 days, the last week or so it's been warp speed. It's been intense, to say the least. It's been I can't find the words for it. It's been profound. And I'm still learning more and more how to anchor myself into my body. And I always visualize it in terms of a spiral where I'm coming back into my body and grounding that energy down through my body and into my feet and through the earth. And just last night, actually, I was saying to myself, I'm safe to be in my body. I'm safe to be in my body. And I started laughing because I was like, wow, I'm actually safe. I'm safe to be in my body. Yeah. I can't even remember what inspired me to share that, but
it's wonderful. Like and it seems like ridiculously simple. I am safe to be in my body. And you know, this is such a big thing as we're starting to really know and feel and see the children that are coming forward. We have to be able to anchor our inner child and hold him or her so safe within us. So safe within us. So yeah, I love that it's such simple language. You know, the adult in us, the starseed in us can get really complicated and fluffy. But it's like, what does that inner child need to hear? I am safe in my body. I am alive. I am special. I am loved. I am held on planet Earth. I am received. I am seen. I am valuable. I am held.
Yeah. So.
And, you know, every single one of us in our grown-up bodies needs to feel that and needs to come to that place. To be safe, to be fully safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that this interview will really, I feel the energy of it, not just the words and what we're talking about, but I really feel your energy, and I really feel that you're operating at a very high level and are able to I really feel you've anchored a lot of energy, grounded a lot of energy, integrated a lot of energy, and I feel that other people will feel that from you as well. And I still have some work to do with that myself. But I feel that with this interview, that with this discussion, that there's going to be other people that I don't know. I just get the sense it's gonna bring quite a few people to tears. Is what I'm feeling. So yeah, there's yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it's like I really feel, and I know it might sound strange. Tara Love Perry and I we had a lovely discussion, and we shared it, and it was called Lifting the Lid on Grief. And you know, the grief is like the Pandora's box in humanity. It truly is. It's like, let's leave that shut. You know, like, I come from the UK, so it's like, you know, don't cry in public, wipe your tears up, you know, cry behind closed doors, grieve on your own, and only come out when you're all fixed up and patched up, you know. And the collective grief, I feel like, having worked with the, you know, the trauma, the collective grief is love with nowhere to land. It's love. But we avoid grief. We avoid grieving. We're avoiding love. We're not landing in what opens our heart to ourself, to the humility of the human experience, to the softness. We relate through our grief as much as we do through our joy and through our peak life moments. And I've felt such an imbalance maybe in the last 10 years or so. Like, everyone's chasing the peak life moments. Everyone wants that. And we're marketed that to go for. And we're taught to avoid the moments where we're in tears, when we connect to the grief, the loss, the sadness, the compassion that we have for this human experience. And, you know, lifting the lid on this Pandora's box of our own grief through this entire spectrum of polarity, duality, polarity reality that we've been playing is part of this healing. Like, you know, the waters of the planet are the same proportion as the waters in our body. We are water beings. This is the difference on planet Earth. We get to feel. We feel it all. We don't just experience it from a higher perspective, going, you know, really, they should have sorted this out by now. They should have got over this bit. We're feeling it all. And when we feel, it's wet. We have tears. Our heart actually cries. Our throat cries. Our yonis and our, you know, our pelvis and our sexual centers weep. And we, you know, we weep and we bring our compassion onto the earth and our compassion at the human experience being here. So, you know, part of what I really believe that grief is not to be avoided, that as much as we need collective healing for the light, shiny beauty that is present here, we need collective healing for the grief which has been closed with a lid of shame. And it's time to open that lid on grief and feel collectively.
Yeah. And I would just like to add to that, Jenni, that the depths of despair, and lifting the lid by ourselves, when we're at home by ourselves, if we can just lift that lid and sink into the depths of despair and embrace it and heal it and feel it and see it and touch it and smell it and taste it. Embrace that trauma and pain and sink into it. That's when it is lifted, is when it clears, is when it evaporates, is because if we're always avoiding it, it's something, it's always going to be chasing us and chasing us and chasing us like baggage or luggage. So we just need to sink into the depths of despair sometimes and face it, face our own shadow, face our own healing, face our own trauma, and we will come out the other side. It may not feel like it. It may feel like, oh my God, you know, what is going on? Is this ever going to end? But it does, you know, we come out the other side the next day or whenever, and we are able to heal it. And it's from the, I just wanted to add really that from the depths of despair brings the greatest of healing available to us if we can just trudge through the mud and the shit, you know, to get to the other side, to be cleansed and to be healed and to be whole to another level. I'm not saying the ultimate level, but to another level, so that we can bring forth what we know and share what we know to other people. And then we'll probably have to do that several times in our lifetime. But we are here to be the truth, be the love, be the light. And it's incredibly painful to wade through the shit, because we are healing the collective. And grief affects the lower chakras, which affects the back, which affects us not being grounded and not being in our bodies. And when the lower chakras are blocked, you know, I've always believed for many years that there are two types of people in this world. One who are operating in the upper chakras and who are awake and aware and conscious. And then you've got the other people who are operating in the lower chakras, who are I would just term them or describe them as being lawyers and doctors and politicians and official people, you know, because they're operating in the lower 3D dimension. I don't want to call it lower, but you know, they're very down to earth people, very earth-based people. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. It's I really feel as you speak into that, and I just feel to mention into like the lawyers and, like you say, the more earthbound people. My sense of that is they literally live from the neck up. They live in the mental body. They are also, and how that shows up is a mental superiority of being above the earth, of being separate from the earth, of being on the earth as a commodity for self-advancement and accumulation and hierarchical positioning. So it's like their journey is from the ivory tower of the mental body into the humility of the heart. It's, you know, what are we, 30 centimeters is the longest journey some of them will ever take. It's the longest journey from here to here. And my experience of like the lower chakras, it's you know, what I speak into here is the deep feminine and the deep masculine. It's the deep feminine that knows her place in the world, that can feel the ancient roots of her lineage wherever she goes. She walks with her belonging through the rooted, grounded, constant flow and dialogue with Mother Earth. She's not afraid of her capacity to compost and mulch the densest of emotions. She's, you know, she's in the mud, she's in her wildness, she's in her tribe body, she's in her true nature. You know, when she comes to the fire, she knows how to transmute with fire. She knows how to use her sound and like sing from her yoni. And, you know, I'm not just talking about feminine bodies, like the masculine as well, like to roar, to let the rage and grief out of the land. Like I know a lot of men in my world, my husband included, like he so connected those lower chakras to the animalistic body that we are. And we cannot disconnect from the animalistic body, the density, the depth of what that is, because that gives us access to our instinct. We've lost our instinct to be a tribal human being, to be a collective human, because we've been so busy trying to climb the ivory tower. So this richness, this depth, and the lower chakras, in my experience, is about really, really re-engaging the star tribes on Earth.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Jenni. And I really feel that we're going back to, and need to go back to, and will go back to, and are going back to tribal communities like the Native Americans. I feel that that is what we need on Earth. That is the way to go, to live in community, to live with family, to live with friends, to live with starseeds, to live with people who resonate together on similar frequencies. I feel that that's where we're going, back to the native, back to the tribal, back to Mother Earth, you know, living in communities, yes, wherever we are in the world. And I feel that that's the way to go.
Yeah, beautiful. I feel that too. I really feel that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Where is your husband from, Jenni? Whereabouts in Egypt?
I don't actually know. He's part Egyptian, but he lived in the UK most of his life as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And just on that, like that tribal, or the like coming into those densities. When I first came to New Zealand, I was driving around and I'm like, whoa, nobody wears shoes here. What's going on? Why is nobody wearing shoes? And you'd see all the kids going to school, barefoot kids. And I was like, oh, maybe they can't afford shoes. I was like, oh dear. My kids don't own shoes now. Like it's part of being in this culture, but also being in nature here. There is so much nature and greenery that I go into the supermarket barefoot. I go shopping barefoot. I'm in my home and outside on the land barefoot all the time. So I'm constantly in receivership and in relationship with the earth. And you know what, actually that was really interesting. Last time I went to the UK a couple of years ago, we were at Stonehenge, and I'm stood there going, I'm just not feeling it today. What I'm here, I've come all the way from New Zealand, I'm at Stonehenge, what? And I'm like, oh my God, I've got my shoes on. And I took my shoes off and I arrived and everything came to life to me. You know, as simple as in our bodies, our shoes are insulators. They insulate us, they separate us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you've brought that up, and please don't stop there. I just want to add some things to that, and I think that is so fucking intuitive that you've said that, because I've spent the day at the beach on my crutch, because I'm still on a crutch. I've been in a lot of pain, but it's all the healing stuff that I'm releasing. So, and I've had the message to walk as much as I can, because it's releasing. So the more I walk, the better it is. And I've spent the day on the walking the beach, but I've had my shoes off all day. And I love doing that. I actually hate wearing shoes anywhere. So, and I had one comment today, and I normally get comments, I'm used to it, I kind of just, you know, ignore it. But she said it so loudly. She said, and I was in the park. There's like a rose garden in Portsmouth where it's on the beach, but it's just off across the road, you know. So, and it's a really beautiful garden. It's really beautiful. They've made it very special. And I was walking along and I had my shoes off and she said, "Oh my God, is she crazy? Is she, you know?" So, and I was just thinking to myself today, a few times, I've always hated wearing shoes. And I've had messages over the years that the plastic, you know, the shoes are designed purposely by the negative agenda to displace us from Mother Earth, especially plastic shoes. The cheaper the shoes, the worse it is, because it's not a natural material. At least leather is a natural material. Yeah. So that's so intuitive that you were saying that, and I couldn't visualize a society anywhere when I was thinking of it where you don't wear shoes today. So it's so interesting that you were saying that in New Zealand you don't wear shoes.
Yes, yes, and you know, those many of the indigenous tribes that are have a long lineage of being connected to the land, they do. It's, you know, barefoot. It makes no sense to them to insulate, separate, and disconnect from Mother Earth. It makes no sense, you know. And many of us, like, why are we raising our children disconnected? Why are we crunching the bones of their feet, which speak, you know, through reflexology to every organ in the body, and teaching them to navigate their reality from the head up? They can't feel where they are. They don't know they belong. How can they arrive like the soul fully in the body when they can't feel that they're safe to be received here? And you know, anyone listening to this, take your shoes off. Yeah. Feel it, trust it, go for it. And yes, your feet will be sensitive. You're going to feel like a prince or a princess, you know. Ow, that I stood on a pea. It's like, let the feet come to life again. Let the feet and your connection to the earth start to inform you in real time where you are on your map and where you are in your body. And from that, you know, what's interesting, since I've moved to New Zealand, my feet have actually gone up 2 sizes. Like in the UK, I think I used to be like size 7, but I'm about size 8 or size 8.5, nearly 9 now. So my feet have changed in their structure, and my whole body has changed. And what I'm able to anchor and hold from higher dimensions, because I'm so here and so grounded, has totally transformed. So it may sound like a tiny thing, you know, the feet and the shoes, yet like as we speak into it today, and it's like the synchronicity of your day, it feels really important. It feels really important to allow ourselves to reconnect our lower chakras to all the chakras of Mother Earth, to her whole body, our whole body, her whole body.
And it's also very grounding and healing, because it's now been proven by science and doctors and authority that we get 20 minutes a day, a minimum of 20 minutes a day, we absorb healing energy coming from the earth, emitting from the earth by being barefoot. So it is very healing. And there's, very healing. And it's been taken away from us. You know, everything that's good for us has been taken away. Everything's been infiltrated and weaponized against us. Food, medicines, chemtrails, water, you know, everything has just been used against us and weaponized to be, So, but I think what's happening now on Earth is actually a beautiful time, because we are changing things. We are changing things.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Jenni, or anything you'd like to share?
I actually feel quite complete. Yeah, I actually feel quite complete.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of just felt the energy just go, whoop, okay. Yeah, yeah. I've really enjoyed sharing with you and speaking with you, and I can feel a lot of people landing in this place and, you know, just like settling into their being, settling into their bodies. And you know, when there is so much out there, to be able to come back into the body and know that that is so powerful, and it really helps people calibrate their truth, and really helps people calibrate, you know, with what's moving in the world at the moment. We need to be able to speak into our needs, the needs of our inner child to feel safe, the needs of our inner child to have permission to grieve and to be held by the earth and to be loved. And, you know, the simple feeling of being able to breathe and, you know, have that reassurance that we are loved and we are held and we are accepted exactly as we are and who we are. And to allow, you know, the pacemaker of the earth to keep speaking to our pacemaker through our bodies, keep us calibrating, keep us here, keep us truly safe. This feels really important.
Just to breathe through it, you know, when we're really in the midst of the shit, just to stay there and not try to get out from it, you know, just breathe and be in it, because it will start to clear, it will start to melt away and disintegrate. So how can people find you, Jenni, if they want to get a session with you?
Well, maybe on this live we could pop my connection to my Facebook. That would be fine. Facebook Messenger, or through my Facebook page. Most people reach out.
Okay.
And that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Let me have a look in Facebook. What's going on here? Okay, let me see if I can minimize that. No, I can't. Let me see if I click on that. Okay. Yes. Okay. I don't know if there's anything you'd like to share while I'm just doing
it. So thank you. Yeah, so if anyone does want to contact me, I do run, like I said, men's, women's circles, and I do a lot of remote healing sessions, one-to-one sessions with people all over the world. And I also do a lot of relationship work, so people who are working with their the magnification of the human experience, which is relationship. And yeah, just free to reach out, to reach in if you feel a session with me would support you. And I do work by bringing a lot of it back into the body, so giving you a very, I guess, a tangible and real experience of the changes landing within. So yeah. Yeah, and then with the breath, it's like one thing to be aware of in how we're so used to being is we're used to taking a breath in and a breath in and a breath in and coming up and up and up in a diaphragm and speaking very fast. You know, the more excited we are, the more animated, the faster we get, and the more we disconnect. So it's like, whew, like, you know, allow that diaphragm, allow your whole body to drop into the exhale. And interesting energetically, like when we inhale, we bring in all the information. So it's like deep diving into Facebook and soaking up as much information as you can. It's like yum, 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 yum. When we exhale, it's like we're actually doing a poo. We release what has nothing to do with us. So most people take in yum, 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 and they never breathe out. So they're like, oh my God, everything has everything to do with me. I have to do all of this. I have to save the world. Oh my God, look, what a mission. And we are instantly in hyperventilation, anxiety, and overwhelm. The second we like fully breathe out. We've let go of what has nothing to do with us. And the body and inside we go, oh my goodness, what a relief, what a relief. And just to practice that in the day is really, really fun. And you'll suddenly realize your to-do list shrinks. You'll suddenly realize all the fingers that you have in everybody's pie, you start to come back a little bit. So what happens is our masculine, our inner masculine can come more on point. So we can get precise, we can get specific, and then we're not wasting our energy everywhere. We can be really on point. So, and just with the breath, play with it, have fun with it.
Thank you, Jenni. So yeah, I've just put a link up to your Facebook page underneath the video that's live on Facebook at the moment, and I will put that I was going to say prescription. I'll put that description for people on the Facebook, on the YouTube description.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because the prescription came out instead of description. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you so much, Jenni. I hope we can do more of these. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Oh, that feels really complete, and thank you so much for having me as a guest and sharing.
It's been really delightful.
Enjoyed being here with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really special. It's been very peaceful and very healing. And I'm sure a lot of listeners, people watching, will have got a lot out of it. I just keep feeling that and seeing that it's brought up a lot of, it will bring up a lot of stuff for people. So just, you know, breathe into it and relax and release it. And I'm just thinking if there's anything else to say. Just be love. Just be love. So yeah, God bless, and we shall see you all very soon. Oh yes, one more thing. Please like, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Okay, thank you. God bless everyone.